I am very pleased to hear you obviously not only talk about access to care, because that's something that's universal in many of our organizations, and that's just a challenge. And that challenge is perpetuated by the lack of talent, the lack of resources in many different spaces. But to hear you focus in on this whole health and the whole health approach, being holistic, is really what we want our viewers and our participants to be able to focus on, because that's the goal. How do we get to a national framework, a national blueprint on holistic health? And so, and giving us some feedback on your thoughts about some of the big challenges, and it's not just challenges that you may experience in your organization, but what are the challenges that you observe in the industry at large as well?
Sure. Even tapping back into my prior work before joining Cabana at Syracuse University, we were involved in helping to support communities build integrated referral networks, really addressing social determinants and access. And a lot of different models have popped up through the last 10, 15 years. And a lot of talk in the early years around, like, what's the blueprint? Like, how do we, how do we pull organizations together to improve this navigation challenge that military communities are facing, particularly for those who are in transition, and being able to serve better those that often don't just have one need. When they have one need, it's rarely they walk into a social services organization, I need a job. It's usually a job and 2 or 3 other needs, and how do we think about the user and their needs and then create that, that network. But I would say at this point that I don't think blueprint is necessarily like the best way of thinking about it. At least for me, my personal opinion is more a set of maybe guiding principles in terms of how communities can work. And I think, again, first understanding the needs and resources. I think Shelley talked about that. She's involved in a lot of her work in Indiana, but understanding like what's the capacity of a community and what are the needs in the community first, and just taking stock of what is there, and then leaning into local champions, whether it's it could be a faith-based organization, it could be a mental health system, or something in between. But who are the actors that carry the trust and the capacity then to be able to pull others in under the tent, and then other local champions with resources. It could be foundations, it could be government, combination thereof. But there's no one necessarily right recipe, but maybe sort of some lessons learned over how these communities have been built and developed and sustained over the last decade.